The project Fantasy Without Borders 2 has come to an end. It began as an idea, as an inner impulse, as a desire to step beyond the familiar, and it became a space where art found its own breath. Every project has its own rhythm, its own path, its own silence between the lines. Fantasy 2 is not a finale. It is a captured moment in which the artist's gaze and the time they live in converge. After the project concluded, a unique book was released, Art and Life, 25th issue, entirely dedicated to Fantasy 2. This book is not merely a collection of works. It is a conversation. It is the traces of reflections, sensations, doubts, and discoveries. Here, art does not illustrate life, it argues with it, agrees with it, and asks questions again. The book is available for purchase on our website, as well as in all major e-book stores, from Amazon in the United States to Litras and Yandex Books. But today, we invite you not to turn pages, but to pause and look. Before you is the video exhibition of the project Fantasy Without Borders 2. It brings together artists who each follow their own path, speak their own visual language, and choose their own intonation. There is no single style here, and no one correct answer. There is the tension of color, the pauses of form, inner monologues frozen on canvas. Each work is not an illustration of an idea, but an attempt to live through it. There is no hurry in this exhibition, no explanations, no imposed interpretations. There is only an encounter between viewer and artist, between gaze and silence, between question and feeling. Let's meet each author individually, slowly, attentively, leaving space for your own response. Because art begins where words end. Before us is not merely painting, but a process of birth. The works of Tatyana Karsakova do not tell a story, they unfold it in time, draw the gaze inward, set movement in motion, and make us feel the pulse of form and energy. Everything here begins with a thread. It stretches, intertwines, twists, and binds body and memory, thought and feeling, the past and that which is only seeking its contours. In these paintings, life does not freeze, it flows, flares up, disappears, and returns in a new state. Color here does not decorate, it acts, collides, burns, dissolves, and leads the viewer through inner spaces. Spirals and images of DNA turn not into symbols, but into a path of becoming and transformation. Figures emerge and vanish, pass through fire and magma, lose their shape in order to gain a new one. Fire here does not destroy, it purifies and initiates transformation. Roots descend into depth, crowns reach toward the light, uniting darkness and birth. These paintings speak of the meeting of two principles, of attraction and the merging of flows, of the moment when what is different begins to sound as one. Within them, there is a silence from which form is born, and a pause before the flash. Each work is not an answer, but a living question, an invitation to enter and walk the path independently. There are no imposed interpretations here, only a state, a movement, and a transition. These canvases continue to live and change even after the gaze is withdrawn, leaving a sense of inner motion and the understanding that the process goes on. The paintings of Ksenia Melnikova reveal a world in which silence breathes. The sky bends toward the earth, and light gently touches the human soul. The artist guides the viewer through the spaces of dream and memory, unites the earthly and the heavenly, and makes angels fly, protect, bless, and listen. Her characters do not speak aloud, yet they look, guard, accompany, and fill the space with calm. The gold of domes shines, reflects eternity, and gathers scattered stars around itself as they swirl, fall, and turn into prayer. In Ksenia Melnikova's works, cities do not stand still. They breathe, glow, warm themselves under the night sky, and accept heavenly messengers as part of their lives. Landscapes softly roll, flow, and shimmer with color, creating the feeling of a path along which a person walks, trusts, and hopes. In these paintings, love takes root, unites figures, leads them through fields, hills, and luminous distances, and promises harmony and an inner home. Flowers bloom, reach for the light, open their petals, and whisper of fragility and strength, of the silence in which life is born. Each brushstroke here does more than depict, it gently supports, lulls, and attunes the viewer to contemplation. The art of Ksenia Melnikova requires no explanations. It invites one to feel, to remember, to slow down, and to hear one's own breath. This is a world where beauty does not shout but glows, where hope does not argue but softly exists, where every gaze becomes a touch. Roman Milyutin's paintings speak not about landscape as a view of nature, but about the movement of the world from within. Here the earth does not lie still. It breathes, flows, shimmers, resists, and takes shape again. Mountains rise and settle, rivers carve their paths, argue with their banks, accelerate, slow down, and draw the gaze beyond the edges of the canvas. Color does not fill form, it acts, collides, flares up, dissolves, and gathers again into rhythm. The artist does not describe a place. He sets a process in motion. Grass sways, water twists, the sky presses down, the air vibrates. Space here does not obey perspective. It lives by the laws of memory, dream, and inner vision. Reality breaks into layers and fuses again, as if the world were remembering itself anew. In these paintings, nature speaks the language of movement, while the human presence exists only as a sense of path, bridge, trace, or gaze. The world is not static, it is happening. It changes right now, beneath the brushstroke, within color, in the tension of the line. Milyutin's paintings do not offer rest, they lead, draw in, compel the eye to move, the body to feel, to breathe together with the image. Here, every landscape becomes an event, every form an action, every color a gesture. This is painting that does not show, it performs. It does not explain, it engages, carries away, and transports beyond the boundaries of habitual vision. The paintings of Sergey Pilkin speak not about events, but about the inner journey of a human being. They fall silent. Remember, doubt, endure, accept, and keep moving forward. His characters look through time, preserve dignity, carry pain, sustain faith, and do not lose their light, even when the world grows dark. The artist unites history and prayer, east and west, personal drama and symbol, turning each image into a revelation and a confession. An officer with a wounded heart presses his hand to his chest, stands firm and endures, remembers honor, does not surrender, and does not renounce the past. Female figures dissolve into color, breathe with music and sleep, and guide the viewer between reality and vision, between the earthly and the sublime. The face of Christ looks quietly and forgives, without accusation or demand. A weary angel lowers his wings, yet remains a guardian. This is painting about a human being who grows tired, falls, rises again, and still chooses light, beauty, and meaning. Our exhibition is coming to an end, and we conclude it with the works of Ivan Sibiryak, an artist who defines his method as bourgeois realism. This is painting without consolation. There is no neutral position here, no safe distance. His works are a mirror of the system, reflecting power, money, fear, the crowd, and the individual who has voluntarily embedded himself into the mechanism. Real faces become symbols. Politics turns into farce. History becomes an endless repetition. Sibiryak works with grotesque imagery, but not for the sake of laughter. He uses irony as a tool of dissection, precise, merciless, almost surgical. Bourgeois realism is not a style of comfort. It is a painting of conflict. And it is with these works that we conclude our exhibition, so that the final gaze is honest and remembered for a long time. Thank you for visiting our video exhibition. The project Fantasy Without Borders 2 has come to an end. But this is not a finale, it is a step forward. We continue our journey and invite artists to reveal their talents, discover new meanings, and go beyond familiar boundary line. The new project Fantasy Without Borders 3